Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello students, my name is Iswati. I'm teaching elementary business English for the first semester students of Management study program. Welcome to today's lesson on describing occupations. In this video, I will share some useful expressions in describing occupations, including asking and answering about occupations, workplaces, and job responsibilities. We will also have some exercises on the use of appropriate phrases in describing occupations, workplaces, and job responsibilities. First of all, let me begin by sharing some common expressions used to ask about one's occupations. There are some questions that we can use. You can ask, what do you do? Or, what's your occupations? What do you do for a living? For a longer version, or you can simply ask, what's your job? You can use one of them that you think is convenient. Now we move to asking and answering about workplaces. When asking about someone's workplace, we can simply ask, where do you work? To respond that question, there are three main phrases that we can use to tell where we work. We can use I work for, I work in, or I work at. Let's find out the differences among these three phrases. Work for is used to indicate employment or being in service to a person, company, or organization. It is typically used to denote who your employer is or the entity you are serving. For example, I work for Google, which means that I want to highlight that I'm employed by Google or I serve Google. Work in refers to the field, industry, or a city or a country where you are employed. It is used to specify the sector or the broader area of your work. For example, I work in finance. Work at specifies the specific place where you are employed. It is often used to denote a particular company, office, or facility. For example, I work at Seruni Corporation. Next, we move to asking about job responsibilities. To ask about what a person does in the workplace, we can address one of the following questions. What are your main job? What are your main job responsibilities? What do you do on a daily basis? Or can you describe a typical day at your job? To respond to these questions, we can use the following phrases: involve, in charge, deal with, make sure, and responsible. Now, the question is, when do we use these phrases? Okay. We use involve to indicate that a particular task or activity is a part of someone's job, among other duties. It is used to describe tasks that are included as part of the job. For example, my job involves analyzing market trends. On the other hand, we use in charge of to indicate that someone has authority over a specific area, task, or group of people. In charge of is used to describe a leadership role or managerial responsibility. For example, she is in charge of the marketing department. The next phrase to use when describing job responsibilities is deal with. Deal with refers to handling specific tasks, problems, or people as part of the job. It is often used to describe day-to-day tasks or issues that need to be managed. For example, I deal with customer complaints. We can also use make sure to describe job responsibilities. Make sure indicates the responsibility of ensuring that certain tasks or standards are met. It is used to describe duties related to quality control or oversight. For example, he makes sure that all safety protocols are followed. Responsible for indicates accountability for specific tasks, areas, or outcomes. It is used to describe the overall duties someone is expected to perform. For example, she is responsible for managing the project budget. Now it's time for you to practice using the learned phrases. Please give the correct preposition in, at, or, for to complete the following phrases about describing workplaces or fields. What field do you work? I work, blah, 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 marketing. 2. Where do you work? I work, blah, 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 the government. 3. Which office do you work for? I work, blah, 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 the head office. Now, let's check your answers. Number 1. What field do you work for? The right answer is I work in marketing. I work in marketing. We use work in because it indicates a field of work. Number 2, where do you work? The correct answer is I work for the government. We use work for because it indicates employment or being in service to an organization, in this case, the government. Number 3, which office do you work? The answer is I work at the head office. We use work at to indicate a specific place or location, in this case, the head office. Now let's have some practice on the use of phrases to describe job responsibilities using deal with, in charge of, make sure, responsible for, involve, and make sure for the following sentences. Now we'll check the answers. 1. She is in charge of overseeing the new product launch. We use in charge of because it indicates managerial responsibility or authority over a specific task. Number 2, he is responsible for managing the company's social media accounts. We use responsible because it indicates the overall duties someone is expected to perform. Number 3, I deal with customer inquiries and complaints on a daily basis. We use deal with because it describes day-to-day tasks or issues that need to be managed. Number 4, we need to make sure that all reports are submitted by the end of the day. We use make sure because it indicates the responsibility of ensuring that certain tasks are met. Number 5, his duties involve maintaining the company's database. We use involve because it indicates a particular task that is part of someone's job among other duties. Today, we have learned about some expressions or phrases used in describing occupations, such as how to ask and answer about one's occupation is, one's workplace, and one's job responsibilities. To describe one's workplace, we can use work for, work in, or work at. Meanwhile, to describe job responsibilities, we can use various phrases such as involve, responsible for, deal with, in charge of, and make sure that. It is important for you to use the phrases appropriately when you are engaged in a conversation or talking about occupations. I hope this video is useful for you in learning to use appropriate expressions to describe occupations, workplaces, and job responsibilities. Thanks for your attention. Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.